Hi everyone, this is Dan. Welcome to Trident HQ, and today I'm going to be continuing a StarCraft 2 commentary on the MSI tournament between MVP and of course MarineKingPrime. It's not Zephyr's Prime, it is actually MarineKingPrime playing as the Brewtown player on the bottom right, and on the top left we have of course MVP as the Red Terran player. The map of course is Zalaga Caverns, so it's a pretty decent map. It's I would say above the medium range maps for this map itself. It is of course Terran versus Terran, so it's a pretty interesting game. Of course, it's one of the tournaments for the MSI. I do believe it's probably the semi-finals between MVP and MarineKingPrime. So let's see exactly what's going to be happening here. Of course, we do have the first supply depot coming down by MVP. Otherwise, let's go back to the channel itself. Trident HQ is a pretty new and upcoming channel, also a network. If you'd like, of course, to be one of the directors for this channel, the links are going to be on the channel page on the right side of the channel page, so you can try to submit your applications there as well. So it's pretty nice. You can have a go and see if you get approved. And so far, this channel is also going to cover Minecraft and, of course, StarCraft 2 commentaries and Modern Warfare 3, and hopefully later on we might be able to get somebody to cover a little bit of Diablo and hopefully some other games as well. So this is it for Trident HQ. Now let's get down to the game itself. So far both players aren't really doing anything. MarineKingPrime of course going for that initial gas, so he might be going for that initial upgrade for those barracks, maybe get that tech lab up, so he might be going either for those early Marauders or maybe early Hellion Harass. So let's see. Yes, he is going for that tech lab, so that refinery did prove to be pretty useful, so he might be going for those early Marauders as expected. Finally, both scouts are pretty ironically going out for MVP and MarineKingPrime pretty simultaneously. Of course, MVP should be able to spot MarineKingPrime's SCV coming towards him. That's why he is immediately building up that supply depot and moving down that Marine to take care of that SCV. He does want to prevent that scout from coming or any harass for his SCV. So very nice micro by MVP. MVP trying to prevent that from happening. Of course, MarineKingPrime is thinking maybe to harass him just a little bit. Of course, MVP did manage to scout out what he needs to scout out, and he knows that barracks is up and ready, and he is going for that Reaper harass. He is not even going for those Marauders initially. He is going for that initial Reaper, and he did rally that Reaper. So that Reaper is going to be pretty deadly, as he is going to be taking out a few of these SCVs. And does MVP know about this? MVP, of course, hit up over here at the mineral-rich field, and he's going to be moving down probably for a secondary scout at the moment he can do that. So he really wants to see. We do have that secondary command center being placed on the first base, and that'll be moved down. That's a pretty standard base build for usually Terran players. Here comes that Reaper. Of course, he did manage to move up and take a few of those units out. Let's just take a look at units lost. One. So MVP did manage to kill one of those workers, but he was forced to retreat with that Reaper, as the Reaper is nearly dead though. So not a very successful Reaper harass. We do have that factory scout coming towards MarineKingPrime's base. He's going to place that factory scout and build Hellions. Yes, he is. A very nice play by MVP. This is a very interesting. We do have that starport, so maybe some Banshees coming on. So let's take a look at the supply line. We do of course have that combat shield for MarineKingPrime, so that should increase the life of those Marines just a little bit. But we do have those double Hellions. He is going to be keeping them a little hidden though. He's not going to be moving out with that single Hellion. Of course, he's going to be moving 2, maybe 3 Hellions at the same time, just to get that initial first push up. So that should pretty much be quite a big surprise for MarineKingPrime. MarineKingPrime, of course, getting those racks up, and that secondary command center is finished and is going to be morphing to produce those mules. So yes, we do have that cloak field coming on. So he is going for that initial Banshee harass. I do believe we should have those Banshees coming online with that cloak though. So really MVP going. I don't know if he's going to wait for those Hellions with those Banshees as well. That would really be devastating. And I do believe that game would go to MVP. MarineKingPrime doesn't have a clue exactly what's going on, as he's not really prepared for this at all. He's building that engineering bay to get those upgrades for his 1-1 upgrades for his Marines, of course, and Marauders. And so far he doesn't have a clue. Factory coming online, so maybe hot swap with, of course, that starport, which should be produced directly after. Here comes the push. The 3 Hellions moving in, going for those SCVs, and they are going to be pretty much frying those SCVs. Of course, MarineKingPrime is going to be moving those SCVs out. The Marines are moving forward to take that, but I do believe those Hellions should be pretty much be able to drop these Marines, but Marines pretty much holding sturdy. Another Hellion drops. Here comes that Banshee. Banshee's going to be moving forward. Cloak nearly complete, so Banshee's still a little bit vulnerable though. Hellion's moving forward, trying to take those SCVs out. SCVs being pulled off the line to go towards the Hellions to prevent any more further damage. And of course, Hellions are kiting backwards to try to make as much damage as possible before dropping more Marines moving down MarineKingPrime. Another Hellion drops, and that final Hellion's going to be complete. Will he need? He needs that Cloak research complete. Finally, right on time. Cloak is complete. He's going to cloak that unit. Yes, cloaked Banshees moving in for those SCVs, and he should pretty much be able to mop up. He's going to be targeting, firing those SCVs though. He really needs to get those SCVs as much as possible. He needs to take those SCVs down. A scan might be coming down. Those Marines, of course, are going to be moved into place, and MVP knows that. That's why he's moving around. He doesn't want to get scanned. And will that scan come down by MarineKingPrime? No, he's not. He is pretty much going to be picking off these Marines really easily, and we do have, of course, a continuation of this Banshee harass from two fronts now. We do have this one's going to be taking down that just initial. Here comes that scan. Finally, that Banshee was located, but very nice double Banshees, double cloaked Banshees from MVP is going to really make it very difficult for MarineKingPrime to put down that scan, to actually be able to scan both those Banshees. But now, since the cloak did and the energy did deplete for those Banshees, he should be able to harass just a little bit. And where is that secondary Banshee? Here it is. Also, the energy did deplete. So far he is just going to be harassing with that. Banshee harass is going to be placed, of course, without any cloak, but very, very effective, of course, harassed by MVP. Of course, he did manage to cloak that to prevent any damage coming from those Terran units. Here comes that scan, and they are going for that Banshee. Banshee retreats, of course, just missing that scan. Again, waste of resources. Resources are being drained by MarineKingPrime, as he's really left with no choice but to place those scans down, and that continuous harass by that Banshee is going to be pretty effective. So far, very nice play, though. I do believe that secondary Banshee did drop, though. Yes, so I do believe he did drop that secondary Banshee by those Marines, and that final Banshee is now under retreat. And we do have, of course, siege tech coming online, and tanks as well. So he didn't even switch to that starport as expected with that factory. I do believe that factory is moving back down. Did he actually start production on the starport? No, he's just trying to deal with this Banshee harass. But siege tech and tank production is coming up for MVP, so he is prepping up for a small little push. I do believe he is getting those Marines and tanks hauled up in the center. He's going to be moving forward. Of course, that continuous scan and Banshee harass. Finally, that Banshee does manage to drop. So that's it for the Banshee harass for MVP. And finally, MarineKingPrime can sort of try to retaliate in terms of this. And we do have a starport coming up, so he might be planning a hot swap to sustain those Marines. No, that Banshee did actually survive. He did move it back. And where's that secondary Banshee? Yes, it is here. So he is really charging up that energy, and here comes that push as well. So I do believe this is it for MarineKingPrime. There's no way he can be able to sustain the amount of damage, as all his units are really down here trying to deal with this Banshee harass on his production line. And here comes that Banshee supported with those Marines and that tank, and that should pretty much do it for MarineKingPrime, and he should pretty much call it a game. There's no way he can be able to sustain this damage. And of course, the first tech lab drops, and that barracks is being targeted as well by MVP. Of course, MarineKingPrime is moving all his units back just to try to deal again with this Banshee harass. And Stim comes on, another Banshee comes into supply, and more supply is coming down from MVP. He is really resupplying this line pretty aggressively, and I do believe this is it for MarineKingPrime. MarineKingPrime just holding on for dear life. More Banshees moving in now to the primary attack group, and that's it. Everything being pulled off the line. Is he going to be going for that one last drop? I do believe he might be going for that drop. Is he going to go for that drop or not? He is trying to reposition everything. He is still believing he might still sustain this actual push itself, but I do believe that is it for MarineKingPrime. And he's going to be putting that last minor drop towards MVP's base. Really a fight to the deer, and MarineKingPrime calls it a good game. And a very nice first game between these two players, MVP and MarineKingPrime. First game goes to MVP, and happy gaming as always. See you guys in game 2.